zu dem Thema auch Englisch. Da sprechen wir Dream or Virtual Reality, Exploration of Experiences of Virtual Reality for Stress Reduction in Intensive Care Nurses. Das heißt, die Erfahrung der Pflegenden mit der virtuellen Realität zur Stressreduktion bei Ihnen, bei uns. Herzlich willkommen und wir freuen uns auf Ihren Vortrag.
So, good morning everyone. My name is Ruben Gregorio and I'm here today to present you my Diplomarbeit. And as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a drastic impact on the world, especially on the healthcare professions. Intensive care unit nurses have noticed an intensified demand on their workloads, as well as an emergency of early career departures due to this pandemic. With my work, I seek to explore the potential of a virtual reality device as a way of easing the stress of the healthcare personnel and a new way to help nurses handle the ever-growing demands on their profession. That's the cover of my work, just how I imagine the idea of a virtual reality device as a stress reduction method. And I'd like to specify that there is no conflict of interest to disclose in the choice. So, just to give you some context of our Tessin, the Ente Ospedaliero Cantonale, our multi-site hospital in Tessin, it hosts 4 ICUs with a total of 40 beds. At the regional hospital of Lugano, we have 4 head nurses, 70 specialized nurses, and 21 nurses without specialization. We cover 16 beds for 1,416 patients per year. And now, to provide you some milestones for my work, I found during research that in 2011, Melania Italia already investigated the prevalence of burnout in Swiss ICU healthcare workers and already advised person-driven interventions like mindfulness. Then in 2020, as we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic spread all around the world, and for us, ICU healthcare personnel, there has been a higher demand of work. Thus, consequently, an increasing amount of stress and abandonment of the profession. In 2022, during an external stage, I had the possibility to try the virtual reality for the first time. And in the meantime, I saw that in Unispital in Basel, they conducted a study to reduce the pain, acute pain, in emergency department with the help of the virtual reality. So we arrived in 2023, when I started testing the potential of the virtual reality as a stress reduction method. And for the future, we still don't know, since the technology is evolving in an exponential way, and maybe we can consider an implementation hypothesis. So, the goals and objectives for my work were the following: doing a literature review, if the VR was already used and or studied, then to investigate the effectiveness of virtual reality in reducing stress among ICU nurses, and then to explore the implementation of this VR in our healthcare setting. That means the ICU in the regional hospital of Lugano. So the workflow was the following. I conducted the research in 4 stages. First, I assessed the theory constituting elements of stress, burnout, and the link between them. Secondly, I conducted a literature review on the efficacy of virtual reality as a relaxing method for healthcare personnel. And that was for the theory part. For the practical part, I chose a qualitative approach to explore the interest and the experience. That means, as a first step, I tried 10-minute sessions of a relaxing scenario virtual reality headset with 8 nurses that we see in depth later. And fourth, I conducted in-depth interviews to to explore the impact of the virtual reality sessions, the satisfaction of the nurses, potential implementation hindrances, and other insights. What I found in literature, there are not so many studies, since this method is emerging and relatively new. Every study stressed the potential and the benefits of virtual reality. That means, except the well-being, it was not so expensive, very little time consuming, and very liked by the users. However, the problem is that there's a high risk of bias in all those studies, since every study was conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic. So that means an exceptional situation on small groups of people, and some were also promoted by VR companies. So to conduct the qualitative study, I included nurses working in ICU at our regional hospital of Lugano on a volunteer basis. I excluded people who already experienced cyber sickness. That means the feelings like nausea, vertigo, etc. during the use of virtual reality. To ensure a diverse group of participants, factors such as gender, age, and years of experience were taken into consideration. The research involved 8 participants, comprising 4 men and 4 women, in the age groups and years of experience, as you can see in the table. So, I chose the device provided by HypnoVR. The participants chose those 4 scenarios out of 9 possible. A relaxing music and voice guided the user through the experience, giving advice on autogenic training. And what emerged from the interviews? The most recurring terms used were relaxing and pleasant. I asked to rate the experience on a numerical scale rating from 0 to 10, and everyone rated it at least 7 on 10. The major themes that emerged were a relaxing experience people would recommend to colleagues or other people, like Nels One, who said that it was a very relaxing and pleasant experience. I cannot wait to try it again. And that I recommend to everyone here at the end of a shift. The experience of a sleep-inducing device, like Nurse 3, who said that I had the feeling of emerging from a deep sleep, and that there could have been hindrances to implement it on our work reality, as we'll see in the next slide. As said, as hindrances to implementation, the interviewees pointed out the time as to when we could use it, either during the shift or after the shift. Most nurses say that they don't know if people would stay after the shift to use it. They also pointed out organization issues. That means if the hospital would agree to buy or rent devices, and how many do we need it. And the most important was the cultural issues. That means some nurses ask themselves if there is not judgment by the other colleagues towards who use it, or the feeling of guilt by who is using it. Like the nurse 6, who said that there could be a sense of guilt from those who do it towards other colleagues who may be still running while I'm relaxing. And so I concluded that that there has been a positive impact of the VR on stress reduction perception among ICU nurses, and that there's the potential of the VR as a valuable stress reduction tool for both patients and healthcare professionals. However, I want to stress that this promising result requires further research, and in practical terms, also in our reality, it would be interesting to assess the feasibility of the implementation by creating a relaxed room or a space where we could use it, and not at least but not least, we should also see the economic sustainability depending on the number of devices needed. So, given the great enthusiasm that emerged and the positive findings, both in existing literature and in our study, an implementation hypothesis should be considered with further research studies. Thank you a lot for the attention, and I'll stay at your disposal.
Ja, vielen Dank für den spannenden Vortrag. Gibt es von Ihnen Fragen? Sie können die Fragen in Deutsch oder Französisch stellen. Herr Gregorio versteht beide.
Or
Thank you for your nice presentation. It was very interesting. Do you still practice this in your ICU? And if yes, do you have any regulations? Because the citation you mentioned that nurses are feeling guilty, others are in stress. Do you have set up any regulation for it?
So at the moment it was just a try, but we will see in the implementation hypothesis where exactly where will be the limits of this thing. I hope I answered your question.
Weitere Fragen?
I try in English, probably. My question is, probably the people afterwards, they felt good because they saw pictures and nice music, but at the end, it's an effort for the brain to realize or to not realize that you're moving, there are pictures moving, and you don't really move yourself. So I question myself if the people afterwards are probably tired because the brain has to work very hard in these times.
Thanks a lot for the question. In my work, I tried to deepen this aspect, and I saw that because of that, there are a lot of devices that provide this virtual reality, and the one I used, it's like you stay still, and the ambientation is moving by itself. Of course, you can feel tired, but that's also the idea. The most important thing to notice is that there's a voice that guides you through like the respiration to relax. And another important point is that you have to explain to the user before using this device how will be the experience. But I saw that no one has told a feeling of tiredness. I mean, I hope. Yeah, the further studies. Yeah, the problem was exactly that it's not so much studied on, how can I say it, with this application. It's more studied on patients, but not for a stress reduction method for the personnel. And yeah, of course, after 10-minute session, you feel tired. Because of that, on the interviews, it emerged that people would do it at the end of the shift, not during in the middle.
Ja, es gibt noch eine Frage.
Thank you very much for the interesting presentation. It was interviews you made. Did you discuss to take vital parameters as well before the sessions and after the sessions?
Yes, in the diploma work, I asked the person if they agreed to measure the heart frequency and the respiratory rate. And in fact, I saw that anyway there was
Decrease.
there were that I can say it's good in English. Anyway, they went lower during the experience.
Vielleicht darf ich noch eine letzte Frage stellen. In vielen Spitälern gibt es ja seit der Covid-Pandemie Angebote von Meditation, Hypnose für das Personal. Wie gibt es in der Methode der virtuellen Stressreduktion einen Mehrwert gegenüber diesen anderen Angeboten? Und wenn ja, worin sehen Sie diesen?
Okay, can I answer in English?
Yes.
Okay. I saw that there wasn't a comparison, but it's a method that you could include in a bigger how can I say it? In a bigger plan of stress reduction. So, but that wasn't found in the studies.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Vielen Dank und auch für Ihre Fragen.